What's up, everybody? So, check it out, right? We're back to finish up and recap on the Sun series that I just did, based upon, whether the U.S. government is actually extorting New Yorkers or not, right? Pretty dramatic, right? But nonetheless, I hope we all gained what we look to gain from that. I enjoyed actually doing the series on the Sun and on the Moon, but this is the third installment of the series for the Sun. So I'm pretty much gonna talk through this way in a more relaxed tone and not as dramatic as before. Well, maybe, who knows? I might just feel it through the way, right? But what I'm really here to say is this, right? And this is based upon another comment that was extensive from the series that stated, well, who are we really? Some astrologers will say we're really our ascendant. Other astrologers will say we're really our sun. And other astrologers will say we're really our moon. And I come to the conclusion that we're more along the lines of our sun. And, because when you think about it, right, the moon is more like, as I said before, you're your mama's soldier when you're dealing with the moon, right? So you're pretty much making decisions at that level based on a collective, which is your immediate family or the clan or the tribe that you're associated with in your community, right? That's moon. That's domestic. That's the moon. Family life is more than one, right? So you're going to be susceptible or subject to the influence of those other people, whether they're your siblings, whether they're your aunties, your uncles, your mother, your father, so on and so forth. Even the leaders inside of your community, it might be your neighbors. You are subject to that influence. It's not until, right? Because when you think about it, like even more on that, when you're dealing with your mom, when you're dealing with Big Mama, you're dealing with Grandma, right? G-Mom, they're okay. Like as long as they got there's food in the refrigerator, you know what I'm saying? You got school clothes to get to school, and like they're okay. You know what I'm saying? It's when this happens, right or wrong, when the individual, this could be man and woman too, but definitely men. We've seen it, we've heard it, we've seen it on television, right? Hollywood. When men say, mama, I'm out, nah, I'm going to go live the American dream. I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, right? They leave out of the household to take that on. You know what I'm saying? And it can be out of pride. Some will say, oh, mom, I'm doing this for you. I'm going to get you a house. I'm going to get you out the ghetto. It could be based upon that. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to put you in a nice fancy car and we're going to be eating lobster and stuff like that. It could be that. Out of pride, right? You know what I mean? It can just be out of pure ego. Like you have the sense to provide for oneself. And this is where the building of individualistic characteristics come in. You know what I mean? Sometimes it might not have nothing to do with the family. You know what I mean? Or maybe the family actually pushes you out to the point where you feel that you don't fit in because you are such a strong individual, right? See, this is when you start learning capabilities about oneself that you would not have knew even existed had you stayed under the guise of the family unit, under the guise of the clan, under the guise of the tribe, of the church, of the community. You wouldn't have known these things about yourself. Right? It's when you start pulling from the inside on out and saying, you know what, I got this. I'm going to go do this. Right? And even for those people who are their mother's warrior and they say, oh, no, I'm going to do this for my mother. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do this for my moms. Like I'm getting my moms out the hood, right? There are some situations where they actually obtain success and then they come back for their moms and they're like, come on, mom, we're out. And Mom Dukes is like, boy, I'm not going nowhere. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, Ma, I did this for you. No, you did that for you. Like, nobody told you to go out there and do whatever you did to pull me out of this situation. Like, the moms may have built her relationships and all her friends and live in a community for the past 30 years, past 40 years. You think you're going to remove mama out of that environment because you garnered up this money for a house? Some mothers are just not with that, and they're like, no, son, you did that on your own, and I'm happy for your success. You should be happy for your success as well. However, that's your success. You know what I'm saying? You did that. Some mothers behave that way. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you don't gotta shower me with all, mama take a gift here and there too. Don't get me wrong, of course. You know what I'm saying? But as far as all moving and all that, like, no, that's mama of the lineage. You know what I'm saying? Now, mothers, on the other hand, they will express the moon characteristics of emotional attachments, right? What do they say? No matter how big you get, you always gonna be my baby, right? And then it's like the ego of the man is gonna be like, no, ma, I'm not your baby anymore. I'm 35 years old and I'm towering over you with a bunch of muscles and I'm on my own. Get over it. You know what I'm saying? But you can't tell mama no, right? She has that emotional attachment. So again, I think we are truly our sons when we learn to express ourselves. Now, here's the catch. Here's the flip to it, though, right? There's a such thing as an unhealthy ego. Sure, you heard about it. A lot of people don't want to admit it. However, there is a such thing, right? And I think a unhealthy ego is a bruised ego that allows the moon characteristics about themselves to take over. So, you know, you may have heard this saying, don't let your emotions supersede your intelligence. And I just recently had a conversation with Alyssa Trahan behind the scenes about, you know, she was looking into the celebrities. If you follow her on Instagram because she speaks a lot about stuff that she's thinking about on Instagram now. You know, she's not on the YouTube scene like that anymore. So she went into looking at the profiles of superstars, celebrities, and how they made transformations from how they used to be when they first began and how they are now. And you can see the change in their physical characteristics and everything, right? And she associates that transition with the moon qualities and the sun qualities, and states that in the infancy, it was about the moon qualities. You were more in your creative and emotional fiber. And that was, I think she goes more along the lines of the true you being with the moon. I think so. Maybe, don't quote me on that. I'm just saying the way that she framed this, it at least shows that she favors the exercising of the moon, because it was that more like childlike self, that more emotion, like that energy being in motion, which is associated with the moon, was more of a qualitative state, so to speak, right? Because you think about it, when you're embarking on your career, right? You're hungry. The moon rules the stomach, right? You're hungry. You're just like, yeah, I'm an aspiring artist and I'm doing this, that, and the third. You know, listen to my music, or you know, look at my film reel. You know what I'm saying? Look at my video clips, and you know, I'm trying to audition for this role or whatever the case may be. You're hungry. So, you know, and if people ask you, well, what are you doing this for? Oh, I just want to be the greatest. You know what I'm saying? I'm not there yet, right? They say I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way. I want to make it to the big times, to the big leagues, right? So it's like, when you reached it, again, you leave out of the house, or you leave the clan, you leave the school, performing arts, right? And you go out on your own to try to land a deal, and you land that deal. That's an individualistic sun characteristic that when that starts to build, you gain confidence, which is a sun characteristic. Confidence in your willpower. Oh, I got a spot in this movie. Oh, this movie did well. I'm on now. So what do they say? You know, they identify with being on now. They've made it, right? But in that process, a transition occurs. And I agree, a transition does occur. You know, but you have this build about you. You have a certain pep in your step now. It's a certain look on your face. It's this certain, and it differs. Yes, I agree. Like, you can tell, like, there's some emotional detachment after that transition occurs. You are not the same, you know, well emotionally balanced. And I don't know if I can even say well emotionally balanced. I'm just saying you're not the same. Your emotional energy is not the same. You know, and part of that comes with dealing with the fame, right? You got pressures on you and stuff like that, but also comes the responsibility of holding those pressures and realizing what you actualized to be. Self-actualization, which I believe I spoke about when I was talking about Maslow's hierarchy of states, emotional states and stuff like that, right? Well-being. So yeah, when you reach, or what they call when you've made it, there comes this aura about oneself that if the ego is healthy, you can see it in the way they express themselves. So I give you an example or two if I can. It's like, and I just had some recent Taurus debates and quarrels all over again. Because some Taurus women to get at me and say, well, you shouldn't tell these guys to just leave their Taurus woman and get with another chick, and that's going to sit well with that Taurus woman. That Taurus woman is going to leave. They're going to end up losing that Taurus woman. And I'm saying, look, you got to understand what I'm saying. Like, I'm telling men, and even in some instances teaching men, to be confident in themselves enough to say, I'm out. Like, I'm leaving you. I'll risk losing you to be healthy. Because what happened, let me tell you, when men start doing this stuff, no matter what you do or where you go, you're going to be my chick, right? I don't care who you mess with, you're going to be mine forever, right? When men start talking like that, like, to some women it's cute, to some men it's even cute to them when they're hearing themselves say it. They feel some type of energy surges through them. I've said it before. You know what I'm saying? However, sometimes that can start becoming true. And if you really believe that, right, this puts the man in a compromising and vulnerable position, and it empowers the woman to actually behave like she doesn't ordinarily behave. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just gave her all the power by talking like that. So now she can phrase conversations and start doing certain things to make you tick, because she may go off on those words. You know what I'm saying? So in that realization, the man weakens himself. Let's say this thing becomes true. Now you're emotionally involved to the point where you are emotionally attached. And in order to have a healthy ego, you have to be able to let go. This is something I'm learning myself. So I once did a video about Tauruses, speaking about Tauruses, where I said, don't love the Taurus woman like that no more, because the ego gets involved to where you want to possess it. So to capitalize off of that video, what I mean, Taurus women, is that my ego was unhealthy for me even thinking that way, right? Because I wanted to be possessive. I was speaking like I was being possessive. Like, once I love you. Like, I want you. You know what I'm saying? And that I learned in that process, like, nah, I gotta let you go. I should let you go. So that's why I teach men, look, let the Taurus woman go, right? Because she'll possess you should she get the opportunity to. That's what they're hugely bent on that. You know what I'm saying? But that's their card. You know what I'm saying? In order to have a healthy ego, you gotta be able to let go, man. You gotta be able to let go. So it goes just like for them playboys out here. So when you see men carry themselves and they're like, oh, I could just get another woman. You know what I'm saying? They don't have to say it. You could just look at some men and you can tell, like, they can go get another woman. It's not an issue. Like, that's not going to be an issue. You know what I'm saying? But that's a healthy ego. So pump and dump and everything, like, you may look at that as a negative trait. However, it's really a healthy ego. The same thing when you see men that get a car and they like, oh yeah, I drove that for this year. It's kind of boring to me now. I seen the Ferrari. I want the Ferrari. I'm getting the Ferrari. And they're like, well, what about? It's all right. Are you gonna sell it for a third of the price? It's okay. Let it go. You know what I'm saying? Healthy ego. Emotionally attached? No, I can't get rid of the car. Oh, you got 8 other ones. So what? It's mine. Unhealthy ego. You know what I'm saying? People get robbed. A healthy ego is just like, they needed it. You know what I'm saying? I go get another one. It's nothing. You know what I'm saying? Some people, they will go down fighting for it. You know what I'm saying? Emotionally attached to it. You know what I mean? So let's get back to the whole thing about the U.S. government. Now, I just wanted to give some examples to show you exactly how I came up to this conclusion. Now, let's get back to the U.S. government, like, potentially extorting New Yorkers with this whole measles thing, right? The moon qualities of a person will first say, can we survive this? Now, there's a such thing as a healthy moon, too. I'm not scrutinizing the moon for being something that's terrible. Emotion is not terrible. But a healthy mind, the moon rules the mind. A healthy mind will first ask, can we and will we survive this? Right? So when people emotionally respond to something and it's erratic or it's out of whack, it's not harnessed correctly, you know, people can play off of that. People can play off of your emotions. But a healthy mind will say, can we survive this? Can we survive that? A healthy ego is going to say, and I mean this, a healthy ego is going to say, how much is it? $1,000? You're going to consult with your moon. We can survive it if we don't. How about we not even take the vaccine? That's how we know we're going to survive it. So we're going to find $1,000 and give it to these people. See, the healthy ego is pretty much going to fork over the $1,000 and say, you know, well, and feel powerful and confident in that. Well, yeah, you're the government, okay, but here, take this $1,000 and leave my doorstep. How about that? And just leave it just like that, because that's what the penalty is, right? Okay, I've been penalized. Fine, yeah, here goes $1,000. Can you close the door on your way out? Oh, but the slam lock is on. Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? That's a healthy ego. Pay it, let it go. You know what I'm saying? They can't, and so in defense, it's just like they can't hurt us. They can't do what they intended to do to us. Oh, but you gave them $1,000. Let it go. You know what I'm saying? I have $1,000 to pay them. Let it go. You know what I mean? Same thing that goes for the healthy whites that were targeted or possibly targeted. Let me rephrase that, right? The wealthy whites that were targeted, possibly targeted, you know, they might say the same thing. If they're gonna ask themselves, will we survive this? Well, we're gonna make sure we definitely survive this by not getting the vaccinations. So yeah, I'll take the penalty. Here goes $1,000. Or, you know, I survived the shots. My grandmother survived the shots. You're going to survive the shots. We're going to the doctors. You're going to get your vaccination shots. You know what I'm saying? Healthy ego. They're probably letting go of the whole, oh, you're going to be penalized threat. And they're like, oh, you don't even got to force me into go getting these shots. We're going to get these shots. It's a healthy ego involved. We're letting it go. You know what I'm saying? Now, one might argue, you let go of your emotional spunk. You're supposed to fight or flight. Let it go. I got a healthy ego. I got a healthy mind too. We're gonna survive this. You know what I'm saying? So I know I might have, another example. I might have spoke about this before in a different video, and I said and it might be getting old now, but I can't recall on hand whether I did this behind the scenes in a private reading or if I did this in secret houses. But I used the Sonny story. You know what I'm saying? For people who watch Godfather, Italian flick, right? Mafioso flick. Sonny was the mafia boss when his father got shot up, right? He took over. So they knew how to kill Sonny based upon his emotional responses. So it was like this. They, you know, his sister, old man, used to beat her. So he beat her one time. Sonny came out to the street, whooped on him in front of the whole community, beat him bad. You know what I mean? And, you know, the community knows Sonny. They're like, you know, don't mess with Sonny. Obviously, don't mess with anybody related or associated with Sonny either. You know what I mean? So everybody got wind of this, of course. And now they knew, you know, they always knew Sonny was a hothead. But now they even knew this even more, this family business that got out. So you know about domestic cases and stuff like that. And I just thought about this too, right? A domestic case. What rules over domestic placement in astrology? The moon, right? So what also does the moon rule? Repetitive behavior, right? So for all of you who are familiar with domestic cases, and I don't mean to shine light on this to make fun of this at all. I don't think there's anything funny about that stuff. This is just the logistics of it, is that type of behavior will be repeated a lot of the times. You see people can't leave the relationship that they're in despite them being beat on or despite them doing the beating. Just can't let go. Can't let it go. A healthy ego will let it go. So this dude ends up beating Sonny's sister again. In the process, she makes that phone call again. And with that being said, you know, Sonny came to do what he did the first time again. And this time they was waiting at the toll. Yeah, it was at the toll or the bridge. And they smoked Sonny. You know what I'm saying? I grew up on Mafia flicks, so, you know, I remember stuff like that. Very detailed stuff. You know what I mean? So I got one more example too, and I forgot this like maybe a year ago, right? I was dealing with a Taurus woman, my Taurus friend, right? And something that happened, and she'd been said that I could use this information too, and I don't know what prevented me from using it before, but now I'm using it because it's important information, and I held on to it. I actually have it right here, right? So one time I went to their place of residence. I went to go see them, right? And when I got there, you know, we're doing this fashion thing. We do a lot of fashion stuff together. So I got there, we're doing the fashion thing. We're taking photos, everything, trying stuff on, blah, 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 blah. Right? Great day. So that part is taken care of, right? So a year goes by. I go back over there and I'm doing the same exact thing. Like, I got a bag full of stuff that I made. She's trying it on, everything, blah, 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 blah. And then she goes online and she says, look, I want to show you something. I want you to see something. And I'm like, what? So she goes online and she shows me a picture of her posing in the stuff that I made for her to wear. And I'm like, because you know, when you use your social networks, it'll show you, okay, on this day, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, this is what you did, right? So she's showing me that. And she's like, look, it's the same exact day. And I'm like, yo, word. So you know me, I'm like, yo, so where in astrology does this state that why this is occurring? So I'm looking at the stars and I jotted down all of the information from the universe. And there are some occurrences that align the same way that suggest why we were there, why you know, the same thing was occurring along the lines of fashion. You know what I'm saying? She's a Taurus. Like, it all just made sense to me, and I thought it was phenomenal to know that. And it's a possibility that it'll happen again this year at the same exact time. It's really a high possibility. So what I'm stating there is, right, that's also repetitious behavior that come with the moon. Now, each time that this occurred, I told you it was a great day. You know what I'm saying? So the mind is healthy. If this was to occur again, okay. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the ego, what does it have to do with that is that you can, or let's say me in this situation, I can make the decision to say I want to do this again or I don't want to do this again. Because when this occurred the second time, I was none the wiser. This was done unconsciously. I did not know that that's what happened exactly a year ago. Didn't know. But now I know, right? So now I can actually pinpoint it and say, oh, okay, well, this date is coming. Am I going to do it? Like, I can actually utilize my sun characteristic because it'll be me making a decision on my own. You know, unconsciously, I was doing it as part of the clan. It was part of the lineage, right? It's me and another, right? It's part of the group that's doing this fashion thing. So, you know, unconsciously, I'm working in the constructs of the moon. You know what I'm saying? But now that I know, I'm aware, I can say, well, I'm not doing it this year. Or, you know, I don't want to. Maybe I don't like it or whatever the case may be. That'll be my singular individual decision to do so or to not do so. To go over there or to not go over there and you know, do more fashion stuff or whatever the case may be. But, you know, but even if I go, with me knowing now, that this making the decision to still go is a solar decision. Because I'm aware of it. It's not, I'm conscious now. Conscious activity is also associated with the sun. So I'm conscious of it. So I'll be making a conscious decision to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to do it this year. And I'll probably have my because this and because that is why I want to do it. You understand what I'm saying? So that goes along the lines of the sun as well. So I hope everyone enjoyed this series. Just like we enjoyed the Moon series. And if you have anything extensive that you want to say about this, get inside of the comment box. I'm out.